The Rick and Morty anime is getting really mixed reviews, but I kind of liked it.
There are an infinite number of paths available to us, but we only get to pick one life. It's pretty dumb, huh, Morty?
What is up, guys? Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you subscribe for more pop culture content on your feed. Let's get into it. Okay, so Rick and Morty, the anime, has officially debuted, and people are really mixed on it from what I can tell. I think this was always going to be a really interesting concept, and it'll be interesting to see how this continues to unfold. Because currently, even just on Google reviews, it's sitting at a 1.3 stars out of 5 after one episode, and its IMDb score is 3.1 out of 10. I feel kind of disappointed that people are like downvoting it in this way, because here's the thing. Rick and Morty is such a beloved cult show that has fostered so many fans over the years that it has been around. And it's also been responsible for so many cultural moments. It is so self-referential, and it's really penetrated the genre of adult animation.
They created a new sauce for the McNuggets called Szechuan sauce, and it's delicious. And then they got rid of it, and now it's gone. This is the only place we're gonna be able to try it, is in my memory.
I actually talk on this channel a lot about the new Futurama episodes, and sometimes I really think that Rick and Morty kind of surpassed, or at least replaced, Futurama in the time it was gone as that like space science fiction adult animated cartoon.
It's a good idea, Rick! A device that lets you
Save your place like in a video game, but in real life so that you can try stuff and then go back to your save point. Yes, Morty, I saw it on Futurama.
Oh, so you don't do anything unless it's original.
And Rick and Morty has always been able to be a lot edgier and sometimes a lot darker, but also a lot more complex in some of its stories. And I think because of its cult status and the respect that it has in the community, it was always going to be hard to adapt it and make it something more unique and different. Often people call anime a Japanese cartoon, and I guess that's technically right, but anime really is stylistic. You know, it has a particular flavor, a particular style. It feels a certain way.
I have to kill Mr. Burns.
Wow, I thought you'd struggle with that, but you're like, boom, dead time!
Well, I'm gonna give him a very dignified and humane murder.
And it's very different to Western animation and cartoons. That's why like classic Disney movies like, say, The Lion King are stylistically so different to classic Japanese animated movies like Spirited Away. And even though both of those movies are considered incredible, I think we can all agree that they feel different somehow.
Jeez, it's a lion! Run, Pumbaa, move it!
Hey, Timon, it's just a little lion.
The other thing about the Rick and Morty anime is it's important to remember this is a Japanese adaptation of a Western cartoon that has then been dubbed back into English from the Japanese, which is based on the original English. And I think because it's so different and then translated back in English, where we're used to seeing characters like Rick and Morty in a certain way, people aren't used to seeing them in this different light, in this different tone, in this different framework or paradigm.
I'm fixing my portal gun, and every time you bring it up, it blocks my creative flow. And then I'm forced to take longer on purpose just to train you not to bring it up.
Jeez, do you know what projection is?
Do you?
No, I heard Mom use it.
I watched the first episode and I actually thought it was really strong. It was just a much different flavor to what Rick and Morty is, and I'm really surprised that people didn't resonate with it. Because as an adaptation, I would have thought that just doing Rick and Morty again in Japanese wouldn't be what people want, which is what they didn't do. Instead, they've put on a new flavor and put on something completely different that is tonally very different, but also has the identity of the original.
Doesn't matter if it's a virtual simulation or a dream sum. If there are zero logical contradictions, then it becomes reality to whoever's living it.
Wow, that's so convenient.
And in some ways, I'm pretty sure this is like a multiversal version of the actual Rick and Morty in the West, and I think that's a good lore kind of thing to have. But at the same time, I think people who aren't as literate around anime and the conventions of anime maybe just don't relate to it as much as they do with a Western cartoon. That being said, I could be completely wrong, but I did feel like when I watched it, this was really following and leaning into a lot of conventions around traditional anime series.
And what was that supposed to be, Goku?
And the thing to remember is it is very unusual for something to happen like this. Most anime series that we know are generally adapted from manga, aka Japanese comic books, and then they become a full anime series in Japan. And if they're successful enough there, they might end up being acquired in the West and dubbed and aired to a Western audience. As I said, this one is super different because it's an existing Western thing that's converted back into a Japanese thing and then redubbed back into English for us.
You know, you're really cute, but I don't know what you're saying.
I'm curious if anyone actually watched it in Japanese with English subs, which is commonly known as like the way you're supposed to watch anime. Personally, I don't really think there's a way you should watch anime. I think you should just watch it how you want to watch it. But I'm sure there are elitists who would say that the only way to watch anime is subbed. But to be honest, if we all watched anime subbed, then we would never know great moments like this.
I hear the Shadow Realm's lovely this time of year.
Overall, I think the negative response towards this show is more because people feel like it conflicts with their vision of what Rick and Morty is. And I completely understand that. I totally get it. But I think what I would ask people to do is go into this with an open mind, go into this expecting something new and something different. I mean, almost just literally see it as an alternate universe Rick and Morty with a different tone, which it pretty much is. I'd hate to see this continue to be sort of review bombed. I believe that people feel justified in leaving negative reviews, but I'd love to see over the next few episodes people maybe give it more of a chance and really see how it continues to develop. Maybe it did need a little bit more time to introduce the characters and not get straight into this story of like Morty living multiple lives across a multiverse and Rick breaking him out of that just before he meets the love of his life, which was heartbreaking, by the way. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this and I'm happy to say that publicly. Whew, thank you so much for watching another video, guys. Hey, if you like videos like this, I'd love for you to subscribe. I've got videos coming out probably around 3 times a week, just videos like this on pop culture topics, movies, games, TV shows, and everything like that. So I'd love to have you on board. Patreon.com/RadioMike is the best way to support me. If you've got a couple spare dollars, which I know is hard in this current cost of living crisis that we are living in worldwide, I'd love for you to chuck them to me. Even just 1 month giving me $1 is $1 more for me to keep the lights on here. As well as that, I do a podcast and a blog as well. So if you want to explore more of my content, I'm all over the internet doing stuff that I think is cool anyway. But that's pretty much it from me. My name's been Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind, and I'll catch you in another video.